Can I don't
Order! Come on, behave.
I don't want to pile more misery onto Scottish Labour right now. So let me break this gently to Kezia Dugdale. I think I'm busy that day.
Question number 2, Ruth Davidson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. To ask the First Minister when she'll next meet the Secretary of State for Scotland.
First Minister.
No current plans.
Ruth Davidson.
Presiding Officer, we've just seen the First Minister gloating over the numbers going up in the polls, and what concerns me more is a serious question, as she identified, and that's the serious question of the numbers showing literacy standards going down in our schools. On the campaign trail, each party is rightly talking about opportunities for our young people, and the best way to increase opportunity is through a good education. And yet we find yesterday that literacy skills in our schools are getting worse, not better. At P4, at P7, at S2, standards in reading and writing have fallen over the last 2 years, and the people being failed most are the children from the poorest backgrounds. This has happened entirely on the Scottish Government's watch, and it is a scandal. Now, I know that the Scottish Government yesterday hastily put together a press release filled with action plans and improvement frameworks for this. But does the First Minister really think this is adequate to tackle what is becoming a crisis in school standards?
First Minister.
Well, can I firstly genuinely thank Ruth Davidson for asking a serious question, because I think this is a very serious matter. I said in response to Kezia Dugdale just a few moments ago that there's much to celebrate in Scottish education, and I will always make sure we take the opportunity to do that. But the results that were published yesterday, and let me make this absolutely and totally blunt, they are not good enough. And I, as First Minister, am determined that we improve them. We are determined that we improve standards in our schools overall, but also that we close the gap in attainment between young people living in our least deprived areas and those living in our most deprived areas. That is one of the, I think, most sacred responsibilities of any government, and as First Minister, it's one that I am personally passionate about. I think Ruth Davidson was slightly unfair when she described the announcement yesterday by the Education Secretary as hastily drawn up, because she will recall that several weeks ago now, in fact a couple of months ago now, I announced the establishment of the Scottish Attainment Challenge, backed by extra funding of £100 million. We are determined, and I am personally determined. I know personally, as many of us do, the value of a good education, and I am determined that my government meets the responsibility we have